Star Wars is one of the most famous, well-established, and influential science fiction sagas in pop culture history. The series created a galaxy of storytelling that blends science fiction with fantasy in ways that allow for never-ending possibilities.
Throughout the history of Star Wars, the fanbase has been simultaneously the most passionate and critical of nearly any fandom, which raises the question, can nostalgia be toxic?
The entire franchise is full of iconic imagery and quotes that became part of people's memories. When people see any sort of light sword or even flashlights, they think of lightsabers. When they hear deep breathing, they think of Darth Vader. There's even an unofficial holiday on May 4th, a play on the May the Force be with you. These iconic characters, designs, and stories have gone beyond the original intention of the first three films and became a part of pop culture as a whole. The original film is even a part of the U.S. Library of Congress because of its significance to American culture. This is a testament to how influential and boundless this series is around the world, not just for fans, but creators alike.
When you have such a gigantic fan base of anything, it is bound to give those in it a sense of self-ownership, how it should be presented and written. When it strays from these preconceived notions, those in the fandom become more upset and eventually feel betrayed, as if the writers are trying to upset them. This is nowhere more evident than in the fan-made documentary The People vs. George Lucas, a fan dissection of the franchise up to the first 6 Star Wars films. In the documentary, they first praise George Lucas, the creator of the franchise, then systematically attack him for changing the story and putting in newer elements for the franchise. This gatekeeping can be the most toxic part of being involved in any part of any fandom.
Most people who watch Star Wars are introduced at an early age. This not only plays a factor in becoming a fan, but the memories associated with that. We all have at least one cherished memory from our childhood, one that we use as a gold standard for other things. But memory can often change when reflecting back on it. The Star Wars films are no different. They have changed over time. The production quality, special effects, and overall product have been famously redone multiple times, almost as if trying to rewrite its own history to make it more appealing to those who didn't see it upon release. The more expansive the perspectives become, the more inclusive the franchise can become to varying degrees of success. For some people, this can enhance the experience. For others, it can taint it.
When Star Wars was eventually sold off by George Lucas to Disney, he felt the burden of the fandom backlash leave his shoulders. As the writers and directors wanted to take Star Wars in a familiar direction, they also wanted to put their own ideas into the narrative, much like all fans do. However, as time went on, it kept forcing the fans to compare the original films to the newer ones, with similarities too obvious to ignore. These new changes did have interesting concepts, while others were generic for a series so well established. Making matters worse was having each of the new films helmed by different directors and writers who did not work directly with one another. This caused a tonal whiplash for both fans and audience members.
The number one reason anyone goes to see Star Wars is the same reason people go to see any form of entertainment: to enjoy it. The films have a story structure that is meant to be experienced by kids and adults equally, which speaks to the long-lasting adaptability of the universe it's set in. As children watch Star Wars, their minds flood with imagination of story possibilities. Through those sparks of inspiration, they could one day become a part of the universe in some way. All of the newer films, just like all of the older films, have some passion behind them, brought out from the same enjoyment the kids who watched these films had. They use that same passion for these stories and try to reinterpret them for a newer audience. Regardless of the attempt, the passion is still there.
So, can nostalgia be toxic? Having a passion for something you enjoy isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it can bring about a habit of boxing it off to prevent change.
When a story is done, even if elements from it are used after, it is still a completed story. There may be other versions of a thing you enjoy, but it doesn't take away from your enjoyment, just as you should not take away people's ability to experience all versions for themselves.
But in the end,
These aren't answers.
They
They
are
are hypertheticals.
hypertheticals.
We fought with him. Me, I died for him. Me, I trusted him.
Me, I loved him.
And me, I'm the damn fool that shot him.
Monarchy is a calling from God. That is why you're crowned in an abbey, not a government building. Why you're anointed, not appointed. It's an archbishop that puts the crown on your head, not a minister or public servant. Which means that you're answerable to God in your duty, not the public. The crown must win. Must always win.